Klipdrift Dam, Frederickstad Dam, Enselspruit Dam, Promosa Dam, Poch Dam, and Boskop Dam.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not a child's play. When it's cold, it's cold.
But when you talk about the Mooi River, I'm reminded that the Afrikaans poet Tertius wrote some of the most beautiful love poems about that river when he was a student and a lecturer there.
Yes, that's the beauty of the Mooi River.
Yes, lovely.
It created what we call the Lovers Lane in the university. The
Exactly.
plantation from that river to the university. And where that plantation is until today is called the Lovers Lane.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
No, thank you very much, honorable members. Let me take this opportunity to welcome all of you. Your Excellency, the Deputy Minister Mukungo, all the support staff from the Department of Defense. Today is just an update report on the informal settlement which are encroaching the defense facilities in most provinces. We have seen it in the Western Cape, Easterplaat, and other areas. We have seen it in Pretoria, next to Atteridgeville, where there's an encroachment. We have seen it in East Rand, Ekurhuleni, where there's an encroachment. And actually, the worst one is in Ekurhuleni because the shacks are just next to the offices of our military base. I've been there to check for myself, so it's very bad. So that is the agenda before us. The first item is opening. The second item is adoption. Apologies, I mean. The third item is the adoption of the agenda. The fourth item is the feedback. The fifth item is the consideration of the minutes. And the sixth item is the closure. That will be done by the chair. I would request that without any much ado, that we go to the second item. Today's agenda item, it's only one if we can finish on time so that we allow you to go and do your political work for your parties. Secretariat, any apologies?
Thank you, Chair. We've received an apology from the Honorable Minister, who is attending a select committee meeting. We've also received 2 apologies from committee members, namely Honorable Tebekulu and Honorable Nondenja. And thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Secretariat. We can move then to the next item, the adoption of the agenda. Can we get a mover and a seconder?
I move, Chair.
I'll second, Chair.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Then we'll, I'm not sure from the department who's leading the delegation, I would request them that they introduce the next item, the Honorable DM.
Chair.
Honorable Richard Mukungo.
Chair.
All right.
Chair.
Hello. You are recognized. You can speak.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I've seen on the WhatsApp group there's a change of members. Can you also deal with that technicality?
Oh, the change of members.
Our brother have been removed, I see. Maliaki.
Oh, Maliaki.
Yes.
Now, who's coming in? I can allow Honorable Harding to introduce.
Chairperson, thank you. Honorable Mariake Shilembe will still remain on this committee as an alternate member, but he has been replaced as a primary member by Honorable Emma Powell, which I think it has been published in the ATC, and she is now with us. Thank you, Chair.
Oh, no, thank you very much for the clarity. That's a party decision. We can't enter that space, but we would want to officially welcome Honorable Emma Powell as the new member of our committee. We respect the authority and the decision of the Democratic Alliance to swap and change its members. That is welcome. Ours is to ensure that the work of defending the nation, the national sovereignty and territorial integrity of the country is done. What parties decide is not within our purview. Thank you very much. I would then allow the DM to introduce the item. Honorable Mukungo. Who's leading the delegation? I forgot to acknowledge the Secretary for Defense. Are you in?
Chair, indeed, I'm in.
If you are in, then your office as the accounting officer is the highest office now in the department. In the absence of the executive, can you take over?
Yeah. Am I on the floor, Chair?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, thank you very much. Honorable members and Chairperson, thank you very much. Indeed, we have presented the presentation as per the agenda. I have colleagues from the logistics division who will be leading the presentation. And I would hand over to the senior officer who's assigned to actually deliver the presentation. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, SecDef. Can we share the presentation? You are not audible. You are not audible.
Good morning, Chair.
Hello. Yes.
Good morning, Chair, and honorable members.
Chair, I don't know if it's just for me, but I can't hear. That's very, very unstable, that connection.
Honorable
Logistic division. Can you get another equipment? Secretary, can you share so that they present from your side? Amanda, can you share the presentation?
Noted, Chair.
SecDef, you must improve your technology in the department. It's very outdated. The enemy will attack us with poor technology there.
Indeed, Chair, but I know we're getting there. Just before this meeting, I had a discussion with the CEO of SIDA. So
Okay.
we're gonna move. We're gonna move. Don't worry.
If you struggle, there's defense industry. They are ready for you, so long as you have money to pay them. Amanda?
Colonel Souls, are you there? Colonel? He might be struggling with audio. Let me try him on my mobile line just to be sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, we seem to have the presentation now. Can you all say there?
We are all, good morning, Secretary and Chairperson. It's Admiral Mkonto here.
Oh, Silok, thank you very much. Assist us, Silok, so that we don't lose much time. You have the floor.
Yes, we have unstable Wi-Fi here. It's giving us problems. I don't know whether members of honorable members can see the presentation. Maybe we can talk through the phone while we're moving the slides from the screen.
No problem. You can proceed.
We can proceed. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, so also you can talk through the phone here and then we move the slides.
Oh. Good morning, Chairperson, and all protocol observed. I will now, if can I just confirm if I'm audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible. You can proceed. Hit the ground.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. I will proceed now. The presentation is regarding the updated status report to the Portfolio Committee on Defense and Military Veterans on informal settlements and encroaching on defense facilities. The aim is to provide the Portfolio Committee with an updated report on the status of informal settlements, encroachment on defense facilities. The scope, the background, will give a background, then deal with the current status, legal interventions, security environment, mining activities, strategic interventions, challenges experienced, the way forward, recommendations, and conclusion. The background. The Department of Defense continues to experience increasing encroachment of informal settlements onto defense endowment and state-owned properties across the Republic. These encroachments continue to threaten national security, compromise operational readiness, increase criminal activities against facilities, and place additional pressure on defense infrastructure. The Department of Defense remains committed to protecting strategic military assets whilst ensuring that all interventions comply with the Constitution, applicable legislation, and humanitarian considerations. Since the previous briefing, the Department of Defense has made significant progress in coordinating a whole-of-government response to the challenge. The key developments include the Secretary for Defense approved the establishment of a government interdepartmental working group to coordinate a national response to encroachment on military facilities as per instruction by the Portfolio Committee based on DG to DG level. The working group bring together the Department of Defense, Department of Public Works, Department of Minerals, Petroleum and Resources, Corporate Governance and Traditional Affairs, Agricultural, Land Reforms and Rural Development, Forestry, Fisheries and Environment, Human Settlements, and additional to that, we would further once extend an invitation also to the South African Police Service The Department of Defense has developed a comprehensive encroachment management framework, which is still in draft format, aimed at preventing further unlawful occupation whilst protecting strategic defense infrastructure. Comprehensive verification of defense properties affected by encroachment is continuing to establish the current extent of occupation and associated risks. Legal interventions. Progress has been made with several legal matters. Maryvale remains subject to a court-ordered eviction process. Execution of the order continues to depend on the availability of suitable alternative accommodation by the relevant municipality. The Gatlose group in the Northern Cape, this matter remains under legal management following suspension of the eviction order pending completion of processes involving the Land Claims Commission. The Tamboerskloof in the Western Cape, this matter remains before the courts through the Office of the State Attorney. Walmansdal training area in the Gauteng province, this mining company that initially wanted to mine there has been stopped from operations by Directorate Legal Services Division within the Department of Defense. The Department of Defense continues to oppose unlawful occupation of defense property through legal processes where appropriate. The security environment. The security situation at several military facilities remains a matter of concern. Persistent incidents include theft of electrical infrastructure and copper cables, theft of military equipment and vehicle components, illegal electricity and water connections, damage to perimeter fencing and security infrastructure, illegal dumping and environmental degradation. The increased safety risks to military personnel and surrounding communities. These incidents continue to result in financial losses and increased maintenance costs, whilst negatively affecting operation readiness and denting the image of the Department of Defense. Mining activities. The Department of Defense continues to oppose unlawful mining and prospecting activities affecting defense land. The engagement with the Department of Minerals and Petroleum Resources and other authorities continue regarding prospecting applications affecting defense property at Rimfasmark in the Northern Cape. The Department of Defense maintains that the defense land should not be subjected to mining activities where these may compromise military operations or national security. The Department of Defense is currently implementing the following strategic measures: the establishment of the Interdepartmental Working Group, the development of a coordinated national response framework, strengthening cooperation with the Department of Public Works regarding management of state-owned and defense endowment property, future engagement with municipalities regarding land use planning adjacent to military activities, enhanced perimeter security and prioritized infrastructure protection. The development of long-term land management strategies to prevent future encroachments, continued engagement with communities through lawful and consultative processes, the future engagement with traditional leaders in areas that are at risk of land claims or unlawful occupation of land, currently engaging private entities by identifying strategic opportunities due to the impending encroachment to convert portions of unused or underutilized Department of Defense land. The construction of a high security perimeter fence at Tamboerskloof has been scoped at the cost of 4.8 million rand by means of internal capability. The construction of a perimeter fence at 91 Ammunition Depot, Naboomspruit, Mokopong, estimated at 140 million rand. The construction of a perimeter fence, galvanized steel mesh at General the Vet training area in the Brug, in the Free State, by means of internal capability, estimated at a cost of 4.1 million rand. The construction of perimeter fence at Garona Military Village, Tabanshu, by means of internal capability, estimated at a cost of 1.5 million rand. The construction of perimeter fence at the South African Naval Ammunition Depot, Sanet, in the Western Cape, by means of internal capability, estimated at a cost of 42 million rand for the outside brick wall and the inside galvanized chain link fence at a cost of 22 million rand, total of 68 million rand. The construction of perimeter fence at 93 Ammunition Depot, Jan Kempdorp, Northern Cape, by means of internal capability, estimated at a cost of 150 million rand. Construction of security fence at 97 Ammunition Depot, the R, by means of internal capability, estimated at a cost of 146 million rand. The construction of perimeter security fence at Works Training School, Fontaine, Gauteng, by means of internal capability, estimated at a cost of 6.5 million rand. The replacement of security fence at SAS Wingfield military base. The contract was terminated due to the underperformance of the initial contractor, directed by Department of Public Works. And also, further, it was requested that the scope of works to be redone and to be finalized. Next. The Department of Defense continues to face several challenges, including slow implementation of court orders, continued expansion of informal settlements, land grabbing, funding constraints affecting security infrastructure, lengthy land restitution and legal processes, limited coordination between spheres of government in some affected areas. The way forward, the Department of Defense intends to finalize the implementation of the encroachment management framework, operationalize the Interdepartmental Working Group with measurable deliverables, prioritize high-risk military installations for security upgrades, strengthen legislative and policy mechanisms protecting state-owned and defense endowment property, improve monitoring through regular reporting to defense leadership and parliament. Further on, to continue engaging affected communities and government departments to achieve sustainable, lawful solutions through stakeholder engagements. Recommendation. It is recommended that the Portfolio Committee on Defense and Military Veterans notes the progress made by the Department of Defense in addressing encroachment, supports the work of the Government Interdepartmental Working Group, encourages all spheres of government to cooperate in implementing sustainable solutions, supports additional funding for security infrastructure and perimeter protection at strategic military facilities. In conclusion, the encroachment on the South African National Defence Force facilities remains one of the most significant strategic risks facing the Department of Defence. Whilst important progress has been achieved through strengthened intergovernmental coordination, legal interventions and strategic planning, continued parliamentary support and whole of government cooperation remains essential to safeguard state-owned and defence endowment property. Also to maintain the operational readiness and protect South Africa's national security interests. Chairperson, if I may continue, there's 3 additional slides, which is specifically focusing on the questions that was raised by the Portfolio Committee in the last communication. First of all, the Interdepartmental Working Group, based on the questions posed, when was the Interdepartmental Working Group formally established? The working group has not yet been formally constituted. Letters were sent to the relevant departments or state organs requesting participation. To date, only one formal response has been received from the Department of Mineral Resources. Engagement have, however, taken place individually with relevant stakeholders, including Department of Public Works, Department of Traditional Leaders, and Mpumalanga Municipality, amongst others. What are the approved terms of reference for the working group? No terms of reference have been formally approved yet. The terms of reference will be finalized once the working group has been formally constituted and the relevant stakeholders have confirmed participation. How often has the working group met? The working group has not yet convened collectively. However, the department has engaged approximately 5 relevant department state organs individually on matters relating to encroachment. What decisions has the working group taken? No collective decisions has been taken, as the working group is still awaiting its inaugural sitting. Responses from other identified departments and state organs are all still outstanding. What budget has been allocated to the working group? No dedicated budget has been allocated to the working group at this stage. The funding requested thus relates primarily to securing affected military bases and facilities. On back. Military facilities. How many military facilities are affected by encroachment? 10 military bases or facilities have been identified affected by encroachment. How many affected facilities contain ammunition, explosives, or hazardous training areas? 9 of the affected bases have ammunition, explosives, and hazardous training areas, which increases the security risk associated with encroachment. What is the estimated financial cost of the encroachment? The full financial impact has not yet been quantified. However, several affected bases have been experienced theft, vandalism, and damage to infrastructure, which has resulted in financial losses and additional security requirements. In which cases has the state known about encroachment for more than 1 year without commencing remedial action? A consolidated timeline is not currently available. The department relies on officer commandings reporting when encroachment is identified. Delays in reporting may therefore affect the department's ability to initiate timely remedial action. This area requires strengthened reporting and monitoring. Security and prevention. How many military bases or facilities are affected by encroachment? Apologies. No. Apologies, sir. There's a duplication. Yeah, there's a duplication on that. I just apologize for that. It was supposed to be inclusive of that. Slide. Yeah, that one, there's a duplication of that slide, sir. So we are. That's the last slide. Yeah, that was the last slide now, sir, basically. Yes. Are we still on the split? Yes.
Are you done?
Yes, sir. There was actually another slide, but for some odd reason, that one did not come out on that. Yes, it's not there, sir, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, from the portfolio committee, we don't work like that.
I understand, sir.
Very claims from soldiers. We are civilians. We don't expect soldiers to be clumsy. We understood your Wi-Fi problems. Now it's compounding with slides which can appear. And in terms of my parliamentary rules, when things happens like this, is that you are misleading me. And once you mislead Parliament, it's a criminal offense which can put you in trouble. From my side as the chair, to accept such low standards can put me in trouble with the ethics committee that I can lose my 1 month salary because of being misled or being told something that is wrong. So we would request you from technical point of view, logistic point of view, technology point of view to up your game because the enemy may defeat us. Like it happened that we were undermined by a rebel movement in DRC when we were a conventional National Defense Force. And we can't lower the standards. We can't allow the National Defense Force to decline. But it's a discussion for another day. You must improve your technology there. Spend our money wisely because as the committee, we are the ones who approve your budget. And we want things to be done properly because territorial integrity and sovereignty is not a small job. And it's not something that can allow clumsiness because if a defense force make a mistake, the whole country is gone. So such apologies we don't take in the committee. Let me just also acknowledge Honorable Deputy Minister Mukungo. He wrote me a message. He was struggling to access the platform due to the area where he is, but now he has since moved to a better network because he's in the Pundus at home, in the rural periphery of the Republic. So he was struggling. Welcome, Honorable Dear.
Thank you, Chairperson.
All right, I don't know from your side, is there any addition to the presentation of the department before I allow members to ask questions? Honorable Dear.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Just to greet all members, Honorable Chairperson, more especially honorable members of Portfolio Committee, Secretary of Defense, Chief of Staff, members present here. I just want to say that, Chair, we have presented an updated report of the status of informal settlements encroachment on defense facilities. We are sorry with that part. It's our unqualified apology. From the onset, honorable members, in accordance with the presentation, we wish to state that this matter not only affects us on act of occupation of the land, but it poses as a security threat for the Republic in many ways, Chairperson, including the potential theft of military equipment, security risks for the military personnel, environmental degradation, illegal mining, and hampering the military readiness and training capabilities. The presentation, therefore, Chair, as indicated, progress that have been made flowing from the previous Portfolio Committee instructions. Today, we solicit your perspective and guidance as we continue to execute your instruction, Comrade Chair. We are committed to resolving this matter and protecting the DoD facilities, though there are delays on issues through the legal battle we are currently engaged in, as indicated by the presentation. So on behalf of the Executive Chairperson, we appreciate the comments that you are going to make. We are given by this Honorable Committee Chair. We will definitely consider them as we did moving forward. So it's up to the Honorable Members, Chair, through you. You can guide us.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dear. I would now allow honorable members to
Chair, I can't hear you.
I'm saying I see two hands of Honorable Niehaus and Honorable Harting. Can we proceed in that order?
Thank you, Chair. And let me thank the Department of Defense for the non-presentation that they've given us. Chair, this is 15 months after our Portfolio Committee on Defense and Military Veterans instructed the establishment of an Interdepartmental Working Group to deal with the encroachment of informal settlements on military facilities. It is regrettable that it is only 15 months later that we, as a Portfolio Committee, now engage with the department about this instruction. Sadly, what we received here today is a non-presentation. 15 months later, we are told that the committee has not been formally constituted. Chair, 15 months later, that the terms of reference have not been formally approved, that the working group has not met formally, and therefore also that there have been no collective discussions, that there is no dedicated budget. Chair, the Deputy Minister says this is a serious matter. And when we previously met 15 months ago, it was given to us by the Department of Defense as a serious issue. And yet they've done next to nothing about it. The poor quality of the presentation that they gave us today is only the technical indication of the utter lack of content that they've shared with us. Now, Chair, none of us, at least I believe members of this Portfolio Committee, disagree about the seriousness of the problem. It affects multiple provinces. It involves theft, infrastructure damage, compromised training areas. Yes. In the case of 6 SAI, yes. Repeated civilian deaths from unexploded ordnance. The department lists legal processes underway. They give us plans for proposed fencing and projected costing, but they also tell us that they do not have the finances to do what they intend to do. This working group, in terms of the PowerPoint presentation that we received, I thought that it exists at least on paper rather than in practice. But after the presentation that we have received today, it is evident to me that this working group does not even exist on paper. It is still just an idea. And this is utterly and totally unacceptable. Even in the presentation, the approach remains piecemeal. They are trying to protect individual bases through fencing, through litigation and coordination, while the structural driver, which is not properly identified and not dealt with, which is a serious political matter, is the unresolved land hunger of the majority of our people. And that is not even addressed. It's not even considered. In the previous engagement 15 months earlier, I, as a representative of the EFF, have consistently argued that without thorough land redistribution through expropriation without compensation, pressure on state land, including military land, will simply continue. And the temporary security measures, ad hoc as they are, and sadly, in terms of this presentation, almost non-existent as they are, may buy some time at particular facilities, but they will certainly not end the cycle of occupation, partial eviction, and reoccupation. Chair, so in summary, I'm deeply disappointed by the presentation that we've received today. The department cannot come and tell us that there's a serious matter that they need our assistance as the portfolio committee on. But then they show absolutely no performance with regards to addressing the issue. And 15 months later, they came back to us and tell us almost exactly the same story without any progress. So I'll ask a few questions and then I will conclude, but because there's not really much more to be said about this pathetic PowerPoint presentation that we've received this morning. I wanted my first question on the basis of the PowerPoint presentation that I wanted to ask was, at what precise date was this Interdepartmental Working Group formally established? Well, we got the answer, nothing. It's not yet been established. There's no budget. There's no deliverables on the table. I also wanted to ask, what times has the working group met since May 2025? The answer was never. There's been some piffy little informal engagements. I wanted to know what is the definitive authoritative national register of every SANDF facility affected by occupation or encroachment. And my concern remains, why does it still not exist more than a year after the problem was elevated to interdepartmental level, or at least to a commitment to elevate it to interdepartmental level, which apparently has not happened? At which facilities has the state known of material encroachment for more than 12 months without commencing substantive remedial action? And what is the explanation for each delay? And that question I do want an answer for, because it is dereliction if the state has not acted within that 12-month period. What is the current status, exact funding source, and implementation timeline for the 6 SAI perimeter fencing project approved in 2019? And how many further civilian deaths or injuries will be regarded as acceptable before this is completed? For every facility where a court order for eviction has been granted, what is the precise obstacle for full implementation? Which organ of state is responsible for providing alternative accommodation? Because alternative accommodation has to be provided in terms of the constitutional provisions and the law. And by what date will that obstacle be removed? This question also underlines the importance of proper engagement between the Department of Defense and local government authorities. It also undermines the importance of the issue of local government in a year of local government elections. What measures have actually been prescribed under Section 83A of the Defence Act? What is their implementation status at the facilities listed in the research unit brief? And why has this statutory tool not been more aggressively utilized? Of the multi-100 million rand fencing estimates presented, and we got them, 91 ammo, 93 ammo, 97 ammo, SANAD and others, which amounts are secured in the current or outer year budgets, if any? Or is this just wishful thinking? Are we simply dealing here with unfunded aspirations? And again, I'm coming back to the issue of local government and the importance of municipalities. Which municipalities have incorporated military buffer zones into their spatial development frameworks as contemplated by SPLUMA, and what consequences follow from those that have not? I don't know if the department will be able to provide an answer, because this committee is not active, it is not operational. We heard of only one engagement with a local government authority. So this question is homework, but I surely want us within 7 working days, as we usually say, to get an answer on this question. Now, finally, I want to ask, does the executive accept that continued reliance on security fencing and selective eviction without a simultaneous national program of land expropriation without compensation and mass housing and suitably located land will leave military facilities under permanent structural pressure, regardless of whatever the medium and short-term measures that you want to implement? Chair, let me conclude. I don't think this presentation is worth the time that we are spending on it. I've simply asked my questions because I do take this matter seriously, and my party does. And I think there should be serious consequences for those who have been derelict as they have been, and for 15 months have not executed the instruction that they have received from this committee. People have lost their lives. The Makanda incident of last year, of 2025, where a civilian lost his life because that civilian managed to get access to an explosive device and it exploded and he died, is a responsibility that the Department of Defense cannot run away from. And what they are doing now, on the one hand, crying wolf and raising red flags, while on the other hand, literally doing sweet blue all, but presenting to us good intentions, and the deputy minister then saying to us, we need your help. If you can't help yourself, if you can't do a simple thing like bringing together an interdepartmental committee, if you can't develop a simple understanding of what your terms of reference must be, then you do not want help. In fact, then you deserve severe censure. And I conclude by asking this committee and you, Chairperson, to severely censor those who've presented to us who are responsible for this debacle, who have lost and wasted 15 precious months, and which has translated also into the loss of life of civilians. I thank you, Chair.
Honorable Hatton.
Good morning, Chair. Thank you. Chair, this presentation confirms that the encroachment on defence property and the implications is no longer simply a property management issue or an informal settlement issue. It has direct implications for our national security our readiness, operational readiness, public safety, as when we look at the ammunition facilities that are being referred to, as well as the protection of our strategic assets. Chair, what concerns me is the significant gap between what the department assert as significant progress that allegedly has been made and the measurable outcomes presented to us. There's nothing. The committee called for this interdepartmental response intervention in May 2025. 15 months later, the department still talks about the operationalization of the Interdepartmental Working Group with measurable deliverables as part of the way forward. Chair, it is clear that the encroachment, the degrading of security at our military facilities is not the same priority for the department as it is for this committee. Department claims significant progress. There's nothing that the department can actually show to us as significant progress. There's no operationalized interdepartmental mechanism with measurable deliverables. There's no national register. There's no list of quantified losses. There's no fully funded security interventions, no plan even for that. Court cases are unresolved. There's no effective prevention system. Department itself confirms that the encroachment, theft, and damaged infrastructure risk to operational readiness continues. Chair, my first question, and I will actually make it regardless of the response of the department, a recommendation of this committee, I will propose that the department undertake to provide this committee with a single national encroachment register, listing for every affected defense facility, the nature and extent of encroachment, the date first identified, its security classification, the responsible department and officials specifically, the intervention required, funding allocated, implementation deadline, and the current process, so that we, as a committee and therefore Parliament, can actually measure actual outcomes rather than presentations about continuing engagements and intentions. Chair, this is very important, and I would also, this may be quite a comprehensive, but it should be a living document. I would also recommend that this committee insists that such a document be provided to this committee within 30 days and thereafter being updated every quarter. Chairperson, the Interdepartmental Working Group, we need to now to get deadlines. When will it be working? There should be measurable deliverables. We cannot just go with the intention to operationalize this Interdepartmental Working Group. We need actually timelines, measurables that we can work on. Chair, just to, I'm sure that once we receive that register, we will be able to measure then what is going on, or rather what is not going on, and as far as this is concerned. Chair, Honourable Nels has referred to 6I at Makanda. The fencing project was approved 7 years ago in 2019. Our predecessor committee recorded the severely compromised fence perimeter in 2023, and yet there was another fatal incident, and still the project remains outstanding. Now, my question is, given that this danger was known for many years, we need to know who was approved who is accountable for the approving and the implementation of the approved fencing project at 6SI, and why was it not implemented? Why was a known public safety and military security risk issue remain unfunded? And what is the current situation? What are the deadlines? What's the timelines for securing the training area? Chair, we've heard about the fencing program about at 91, 93, and 97 ammo depots. The question that I have is about the approximately 500 million plus in security fencing requirements identified in this presentation. How much is actually funded rather than merely estimated? And for each one of these, what is the status of planning and implementation of this? And then, very important, what are the completion dates? Particularly at the ammunition and explosive facilities, what we need to know, what interim security measures are currently in place. Chair, I was at Walmanstal, and it's strange that nothing is actually being said about the critical security failure at Walmanstal, and that is the digging up of the main electricity supply cable in between the outer and the inner boundary fences, about 1 meter deep, stretching over many, I would say 100, 120, 150 meters, I don't know how long, but it has been going on for weeks. So there's no electricity feed into Walmanstal. Not a word is being said about it. Mention was made about water and the mining encroachment, but Walmanstal is running on generators, only a small portion of Walmanstal. The whole Walmanstal military area is vulnerable because of the lack of electricity at Walmanstal. There's no mention of that. Is that not an important factor? There are critical place equipment at Walmanstal. There are units there, and nobody cares about the theft of the electricity. When will the cable be replaced? How will it be secured? And when will the electricity in Walmanstal get back onto the national grid? It's very important that we know that. Chair, I can go on into the detail of each of the projects. I'm sure that the register that I will strongly push for will provide us the base to monitor and to have oversight over the lack of security at our military bases. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Kubukeli.
Thank you, Chair. Mine will just be a short contribution. You know, Chair, I think as we approach this challenge, we must look at the history of the former, that is the SADF, because these bases were placed in such a way that because SADF was at war with the communities, you know, so it was all the apartheid, spatial development, planning, whatever. But now when we look at it, we must also, I do not know whether they have done, that is the SANDF, the DOD, they have done a study as to whether we still need all these bases, because now they were placed, some of them nearer to the communities, you know, and now it is difficult for the communities to develop, you know, because these bases are here, you know, this encroachment thing, and, you know, when we approach it, we must approach it looking at the challenges that are faced by our communities, as Honorable Niehaus stated. So I just want to say that let us look at the historical perspective, and at the same time, because I'm looking at the monies that are going to be spent, at the monies that are going to be spent in fencing these properties, because when you fence it, they cut through the fence, it will be a waste of money, really. So we have to look at it holistically, and this challenge on encroachment, for instance, here at what's this place where Armsco is, that is the DOD HQ. Also, even there was some encroachment into that property at Erasmus Kloof. So wherever the SANDF is, it's facing these challenges. So really the SecDef should go back and do his homework and, present to us something that, like Honorable Niehaus alluded to, something tangible that will have timelines for us to monitor, because the land claims issue is a challenge in South Africa. And it takes a lot of time, even for our communities that have claimed some parts of South Africa. So it's not only SANDF that is faced with that challenge. Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much, Honorable. I see there are no further hands. I would like to make my input, which will also be a summary. So I would request that the Secretariat notes the points that I would like to raise. I agree that a proper study needs to be done to look at the military bases, whether other military bases, can we outsource them or give them for human settlement, others for maybe property development through triple Ps or private sector. So that can be done. But the problem is that as we are now, some of our military bases have got ammunition depots. And as they have ammunition depots, it means that there are going concern over high risk, because some informal settlement people use baulas and other things as a form of warming up themselves. And you can imagine if some of the ammunition depots are underground and there's fire on top, and that fire disrupts the humidity and the temperature of the weapon, it means it can explode even if it's underground. So the problem is that we are sitting with a risk from public safety. We are sitting with a risk also from internal insurgents. I think defense intelligence and other forms of intelligence needs to analyze this thing, because if it's an internal insurgence, that can be done by foreign intelligence agencies to encroach our national assets of the National Defense Force with a full purpose to weaken us, so that in times of attack, we would struggle with our combat readiness. The reason I'm saying this is what we saw in the Israeli-US-Iran war. Because there was a military base that was close to a public school, over 170-something kids had to die in Iran because people were close to the military base, which was attacked, and the attack ended up with civilians. And that's what we're exposing our people to in this case, because there's no proper intelligence report that says, is this orchestrated? Is this innocent? Or is this a case of our people who have been in land poverty and access to settlement. So that analogy also needs to be done, Secretary, so that we understand the nature and character of this encroachment, because it cannot be innocent. Because some of the military bases were taken away from communities. It has been a distance to get to them, but now it is so easy that everybody can build next to them, even if they are 20 kilometers away from a local community. So something is very strange here, but I'm a civilian. I can't say other things. Those who are known to be experts and knowledgeable from the department, can they do an analogy of this particular thing? Again, the problem is that the reason why we requested 15 months ago that you must engage public works, you must engage human settlement, you must engage land affairs, you must engage SALGA and municipalities of the affected municipality, we must get in Treasury and the presidency. We said that in May last year when we decided on this case. What we're expecting from your report is to tell us what Public Works says, because in the case of Marayville, last year at the Castle of Good Hope in May, we're told that the court said we are not the landowner is Public Works. So we said no. If that is the case, then we'll have to talk to Public Works. We have a possibility that some of these lands can be returned back to the Department of Defense so that we become the legitimate owner, because court by jurisdictions can't listen to us because we're not the original landowner. The original landowner of all army bases is Public Works. So we have that problem which was not dealt with. We said bring in human settlement so that these people can be relocated and municipalities must be there to other areas which belongs to the municipality so that we take them out of the risk of explosive, out of the risk of military bases, because some bases, it was said that they've got ammunition, depots, and some have got serious weapons of mass destruction. So it's not for them to have them closer to where people settle. So we said human settlement must come in. We said land affairs must come in so that if there's an alternative land that land affairs has, which can be used for human settlement, that must be done. You have not consulted with land affairs, and it's a problem. We said consult with SALGA and municipalities. That was not done. So it means we don't have a way forward from this particular work, because we can fence ourselves high, but it does not take away the risk that in case there is an insurgence, a military base is attacked, those people are going to be affected. So we must save them by taking them out of the military base, because a military base in any warfare or in modern warfare is a target. So we must explain to our people that you can't sit next to a military base, because in case of war, a military base is a target. We have seen now with how Iran attacked all military bases of the US in their neighboring country, how Israel attacked all military bases of Iran. So that's how future warfare is going to be defined. And we need to prepare for that disaster as a national defense force and as a people. I mean, we even have to mitigate now for climate change. For the first time, half of the country has snow. We knew snow to be only in the coastal provinces and inland in Lesotho and parts of Free State, but now it's up to Gauteng. So very soon the whole country will have snow up to Musina. So we need to mitigate our case against that. And that's the work of a national defense force. And that's why you are called soldiers. You are not called civilians, because you must be ahead of civilians by thinking, by science, by organization, by discipline, by professionalism. Or else this national defense force will decline. So that's why we said earlier on, we can't even allow a presentation that is clumsy. So I would request that you go back, SecDef, go and bring a proper plan, including how we deal with this particular matter, including the plan of how you deal with public works to get our assets back as the National Defence Force, and tell them it's a security question. We can't have Defence Force assets in public works, and public works using service providers who are not vetted to access our ammunition depots, to access our military bases. That's a security risk, because that person through a GPS, if he's an informer or a foreign intelligence agent, can make a GPS location to his handlers, which would know where we are, where we have our ammunition depots. And by the time any country wants to attack us, they know how exposed and vulnerable we are. So I don't think your presentation is helping us in resolving this matter, because we have not consulted with the departments, which we said, and we were clear. We directed you through a decision of the portfolio committee that go and consult with your interdepartmental colleagues who deal with these things and who can help us get out of these things. You can fence yourself, but if you don't move a settlement away to an alternative land, even far better in an alternative land where those informal people will be made formal, land affairs in, SALGA in, human settlement in, National Defence Force Department in, then we clear all our military bases. Only by relying on fencing and a budget of millions, which we know we don't have it's not going to help us. You need also diplomacy here to talk to other departments. So I would request that you go back, if you are ready with the plan, tell us. We can have even this meeting with yourselves virtually. But for now, there's no solution to our problem. And it is clear that there's no plan, and communities next to military bases remains vulnerable. We may call them informal, but they are fellow South Africans who can get proper settlement, and I'm sure their cry can be better helped by ourselves as the National Defence Force and the Department of Defence, by engaging other departments, bargaining with them, including municipalities, so that we save lives, because more we're just in trouble, and we may end up like Iran, where schools and kids and people would be affected because there was a settlement next to a military basis, which was targeted, and people had to lose their lives due to poor planning or either by our failure to preempt a possible risk or target. So that would be my request, that you go back. We don't take your presentation. It's not helping. Thank you. Honorable DM.
Comrade Chairperson, thank you very much. And we appreciate all kinds of advice we received from the honorable members of Parliament. We accept that there are challenges that we are facing, and our report took time. We have to go back, Chairperson, and rectify wherever we think we don't do right, but we didn't do right. But we take your wise words that you have conveyed to us, and we take them seriously, including the advice raised by Honorable Gubugeli. We take those seriously. The issue of land dispossession and land that was taken from our Black people, we will look at all those, more especially the Interdepartmental Working Group Chairperson. We admit that it has taken time, there are delays. We will rectify that, take it seriously, and come back to this honorable committee, portfolio committee meeting, Chair, and account. We we take all the advices you gave us, wise words. We are going to implement those advices, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable DM, SecDef.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. And I'm a bit cautious not to talk after the leadership has spoken, Honorable DM. But I think for me, it's the point is clear that even if the message from the committee is that defense, you can run roughshod and put all the security measures around, you know, the facilities, but all of that might just, you know, end up being nothing because there's a bigger picture about land in the country. So by their very nature, our military colleagues, they do a lot of planning. And I must say, Chair, that the idea that if you don't have funds, don't plan, that's not the language that we have in the TOD. We will continue to plan, we'll continue to look for funding and be able to inject funding where there are priorities. But lastly, I know the burden is on my shoulder to start speaking to my colleagues in the other departments. And I know that in this job, in the time that I've been here, there are great possibilities, but that's par for the course. I take that. But I remain optimistic, but I'm not a blind optimist. I'm a realist. So we take all the comments and the proposals for what they are meant to be, Co-Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, SecDef. I think let's go and do what the portfolio committee requests from us. Because I've seen we struggle in the department to understand the legislative architecture of our country, including the question of separation of power. When anything goes wrong in those settlements or informal settlements, as the portfolio committee, we are aware now we are going to be blamed, and where possible, litigation can be brought against us individually and severally. So for us to be hard on you as the department, it's precisely to play that role, because there are even Concord orders which said Parliament failed, they were aware, and they allowed things to continue. So we don't know at which time will we be sued or our pensions attached individually and severally. So we don't have to wait for that moment. We want to avert a crisis of a bomb that may implode in any of the informal settlement next to our ammunition depots. We want to avoid the possibility where, in case the country can be attacked or there's an internal insurgence and there's a settlement next to a military base, that will compromise the lives of people. So that's our argument as the portfolio committee. And we said 15 months ago that we are aware that you as the department don't have a budget. But if you talk to human settlement, if you talk to land affairs, if you talk to treasury, if you talk to public works, I'm sure something can be done. You don't have to use your own budget and spend your own money. That's what we said when we talked about Interdepartmental Working Group. Because those other departments, human settlement has the money to build houses for those people who are today informal. We relocate them, settle them somewhere. Human settlement built. land affairs, buy land on their behalf through the housing development agencies. Those are budgets which are not within the Department of Defense. But if you are smart, you can access those funds through this crisis to help these communities. That's what we're saying. So the story of money and no money, it does not exist because there's money elsewhere which we can use to settle our problem. That's what we're saying as the portfolio committee. And we're steadfast, and that's why I'm saying today that go back. You have not done your work, and do your work. And stop behaving like civilians. You must behave like soldiers now. Because soldiers must have precision, predictability, and time frame, because they deal with lives and they protect the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of the country. Any delay from a soldier can cost life. So that's what we are asking for. And I don't think it's much. We gave you even a plan, we contributed, we trusted that you'll do the right things, and nothing has been done. So please go back. Thank you very much. You are released from the meeting. Members of the committee will remain so that we deal with the business of the minutes and other programs of the portfolio committee. Thank you very much.
My apologies. I raised my hand. It's a follow-up from my side. First of all, to say that the proposals that you've made to go forward, I think, is helpful. Although I do think you're a little bit soft on these guys. We could have been harsher on them in terms of their lack of performance. But myself and also the Honorable Hatting and perhaps even other members of the committee have asked very specific questions. Those questions, in addition to the overall instructions or guiding proposals that you have made, should be answered. And we've requested that those questions be answered within the usual time frame that we use for this committee. I've sent my summary of my input and my questions to our parliamentary research unit. I will appreciate it if you could rule that those questions can be forwarded, in addition to what you've now proposed, to the department, and they please provide us with the necessary answers to those questions. Among those were also some questions that came from the Honorable Hatton. Thank you, Chair.
No, thank you very much. I'm sure the department has listened. Would request that written answers be provided within 7 working days from some of the questions that has been asked by members. You will contact the secretariat so that we deal with this particular matter. I can't be harsh, Honorable Nehaus, on the department, because we still need their cooperation. We still need to help them, and that's why we help them. That because you don't have money, that's what we were told the first meeting, that there's no money. Then we said, work on an interdepartmental working group so that other departments, I mean, if some of the settlements affect less than 10,000 houses, I'm sure Human Settlement can issue those 10,000 subsidies for those people to be built proper houses. Land Affairs can make land available through the Housing Development Agency. It's just for us to know how our government works and what are the other sources of help we can get, because every year there's a carryover of human settlement money which has not been spent, and yet we sit with a crisis in the National Defence Force through encroaching of our human settlement. I mean, through encroaching of our military bases. So that's what we are just working on. And the problem is that we would want as soldiers to appreciate that we may face possible litigation as the committee and parliament if you don't do your work, because we're expected to play oversight on you. And we are putting it to you now that if you are not careful, we will disown you if litigations come, so that not my pension is attached, your pensions must be attached, or your monies must be attached and your assets, so that people can learn to understand that doing work, and that you are being paid for, it's compulsory, and it's not like we relate through friendship. Yeah, it's a contract of employment, and it must be honored. So as the employer and authority, when we say some of the things to you, it's not that we are punishing you. It's only that we want work to be done in the interest of our national security, in the interest of our country and our people. And that's what we simply need to do as our relationship defines, because our relationship is not defined by personal relations. It's defined by the statutes, the laws, and the Constitution of the Republic. So that's how we relate. And as an authority, I think we're asking you for the last time on this thing, or else we'll have to bring our own parliamentary processes. And now it's going to be bad once we bring our parliamentary process. I'm sure you have seen with the police on other committees, you have seen with the commissions. That's the authority we have in terms of our parliamentary resolutions when the executive does not listen. And we ask and ask and ask and ask. We have an alternative, but we don't want to use it now. We still have trust that we can get an amicable solution on some of these things, because you can't have informal settlement next to ammunition depots. It's a recipe for disaster. You don't have to know science and skyrocket to know that somebody sitting or staying next to a missile using a bowler or ground floor to warm themselves and to cook and to do anything. Once that missile's humidity and temperature is lost, it's an explosion that can kill thousands of people, even far away from that informal settlement. So I don't want us to wait for that disaster. We need to avert it and prevent it as it is now. Thank you very much, the department. Wish you well. Bring a proper report with proper inputs and outputs. Tell us what is the contribution of other departments in the whole process. Stop telling us about the budget and money. There's money elsewhere in government. Go and get that money. I thank you.
Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Okay, before, Honorable Ate.
Chairperson, I specifically requested that we get a comprehensive register of these. You have ignored that. Shall I take it forward to the committee session where we then formulate this formally? You didn't mention that. If we don't, and I also think that if the department doesn't really know the extent of the problem, quantify it, and also mark it with deadlines and timeframes, we will not make any progress. My request, you didn't actually address that. Should I take it formally to the committee then?
No, there's no problem. We can present it here while the department is here so that they know what we expect from it.
Well, Chair, I did request that a register of all these transgressions, the encroachments, be compiled, the extent of the problem be identified, that there be a quantification of what is financially required, that timelines be set for the repair or the solution of the problems, that it be done and given to this committee within 30 days, and that we get quarterly updates on it.
Okay, thank you. Honorable GM, SecDev. I'm sure we got the message.
Well, we received a message, comrades. We are going to cooperate and accordingly respond to the proposal by Honorable Hetty.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable DM. SecDef, can we go and do that request of the committee so that we get to know how do we deal with this particular matter? The issue of money is not in the Department of Defense. Money is in Human Settlement, Land Affairs, Public Works, and all other departments which needs to be part of the Interdepartmental Working Group. Relocate these people out of our military bases, get them move from informal to formal, so that they can also benefit as citizens of the Republic without undermining their social conditions and socio-economic position, but rather assist them, because we'll be assisting ourselves. Explain to them that there are weapons of mass destruction in some of the military bases. You can't have people staying next to them, burning fire and doing other things there. It will be bad one day and disastrous if we were to get into that situation of a disaster. So I'm sure we are aware with the risk we are dealing with, like Honorable Ating is suggesting, that we get a proper profile of this basis, a proper profile of the status of the encroachment, a proper profile of how we can deal with some of these things and the time frame. Because had we done the interdepartmental work 15 months back after our meeting, I'm sure by now other departments would have committed. Human settlement would have told you that we can avail 10,000 subsidies. Land affairs would have told you that we could avail so many hectares of land. We would have been far by now. And some of you took the committee serious. Thank you. Until we meet again.
Thank you, Chairperson. Bye-bye.
Bye. Secretariat, we can fly the minutes. Thank you, honorable members. Those are the minutes of our last meeting. At least in our last meeting, we managed to complete minutes of which we had from the last quarter. We are now updated with our minutes. This is the minutes of the 5th of August. Can we just go through the minutes? Page 1. Can we go to page 2? Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Page 8. Page 9. Any matters arising from the minutes? Honorable
Chair,
members?
Chair, I've got
Chairperson.
my hand up.
Okay. It's Honorable Munyai, Honorable Nios, Honorable Ating, in that order.
Chair, I just rise to say that can my last name be correctly spelled, please, to reflect Michael Uniform rather than Michael Oscar, please.
Okay.
I once
Noted.
sent a text in the platform before. It's Munyai. If it could be corrected in all the minutes, because I was always texting on the platform to get that corrected. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, our apologies, Honorable Munyai. I know the wrong spelling of a surname. It's a serious matter, especially if we are to go to court or be taken to court. So our apologies. Secretariat, can we correct Munyai, Munyai? I know it's a surname that Amanda may not know, because from primary school you have not met that surname. It's a vendor surname. So I know sometimes you struggle to know surnames from other regions of the country. Honorable Niaus and Honorable Aten.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Can we please go to the part where we move over from the one presentation to the other? I don't know on which page it is here. Just scroll down and then we'll find it.
Okay.
Further on. Okay. What I'm requesting is that it should be reflected in the minutes that when the department reported on the first quarter, that is a little bit further down, that the economic freedom fighters excused ourselves on the basis of our position that the current acting Director General is not competent to be acting as the accounting officer, reflecting and presenting the report, because that is not reflected there.
Okay, is that the point you wanted to be added?
Yes, please. Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
That is under briefing by DMV on its Q1 expenditure and performance, point 5 in the minutes. And I wanted to be added that the economic freedom fighters exited because we do not consider the current acting Director General competent and legally entitled to present as the accounting officer that first quarter expenditure and performance. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Secretariat include there and underline that economic freedom front. I mean economic freedom fighters.
Don't confuse us with the Freedom Front, freedom fighters. Thank you.
All right, just underline that word. You must bold it. Economic freedom fighters. So said. It's okay. Can we get any other point, Honorable Ate?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, you know, I've mentioned it so many times before. We ask a number of questions and then we get generalized responses. What we have on page 6 and going on 5 and 6 are actually the inputs and the questions from the members. They have not been responded to by the department. And we've also got, although we stated it should be 7 days, we know 7 days already has passed, that the responses would not be forthcoming. So, Chair, I want those 12 recommendations or questions and discussions from members that need responses to not simply be minuted here and then it goes nowhere. There should be timelines in which we should receive responses. It's not minuted here that it should be received within 7 days. And obviously we have not received it. So in order for this committee not to become just a talk shop, we need to follow up. We need to put some deadlines in here. And I would like to add that the responses required be provided to this committee within 7 days, which actually has now expired. But then also, that is the understanding, and it was also mentioned during that meeting, also that the administration of this committee now put these questions forward to the department, and so that we can have responses as soon as possible. Thank you, Chair.
Well, thank you very much, Honorable Harting. I think the Secretariat have noted. I would request that immediately after this meeting, Secretariat, Amanda, we make a conference call between me, yourself, and Dr. Steenkamp and Dr. Janse van Rensburg, so that we deal with all these matters that members have raised in the committee today. We just make a follow-up. I'm not sure whether is there any other hand.
Chair, can I then just request that it be added that, as per custom, that there is questions should be responded to within 7 days?
Okay. All right.
And with that amendment, then I propose that we accept the minutes.
Okay. Thank you. Any seconder?
Chair, I second, as long as I haven't seen it properly. Also, the amendment that I proposed is properly contained in the minutes.
Okay, no, it will be added. I don't.
Thank you.
All right. Minutes have been accepted. Any further items? It's now closure. Let me take this opportunity to thank all of you, honorable members, the support staff, the research team, the secretariat, for your contribution. Ndate Chabulani Majozi, I would also request that we issue a statement, a very strong statement, on the challenge we have of the encroachment of military bases, so that we can raise this thing, so that other departments can help our department to achieve this thing, because unless there's a national grievance or a complaint, I don't think they will be taken serious by other departments. So we should just support them through issuing a statement today, while it's so very cold. And we also think about those who are in formal settlements struggling next to our military bases. So thank you very much, honorable members. We wish you well, and we wish you that we see each other again. You survive this snow and cold winter. There must be no casualty due to weather. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day. God bless.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.